What's going on, world? Welcome to Lead Through Sports Spotlight, episode 9. We got my guy Brendan Cole in the building tonight. Hope everybody's doing well. Everybody's enjoying this warm weather and all that good stuff. Let's wait for my guy to join. Let's see if I can do it now. Just sent it. Be Cole.
T. Scotty.
What's up, my guy? How you feeling, man?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm good, man. I can't complain. It's cool in it. You in the office right now?
Yeah, I made sure I got on my good Wi-Fi for you.
Appreciate that. I feel it.
How you
Well,
doing? All right.
welcome to Lead Through Sport, episode 9. For any new viewers out there, I just want to explain what Lead Through Sport means. Lead Through Sport is a student-athlete development initiative, and it's been built to help student-athletes enhance their leadership skills and to use sport as a tool to navigate through life. So I'm bringing in people like you.
I can't hear you. Can you hear me, T. Scotty? I can't hear you.
Do you hear me now?
Oh, I can hear you now. Yeah.
All right, cool. Tell us a little bit about yourself, just in general.
So my name is Brendan Cole. I grew up in Hampton, Virginia. I was born in Kansas City, Missouri. Military child. Moved to Hampton, Virginia when I was 8. And met people like Taj and other people. And I've been here since 2000, what is that, 3 or something like that. Went to Bethel High School at first. So I was at Bethel. Well, I went to Eaton, then I went to Bethel High School, played basketball there, played football there. And then I ended up going to Christ Church School and then Hampton University, and now I'm here. So that's kind of like a little background without giving you too much too early. But that's just kind of like what my journey was.
You got here when you was 9?
8. I was 8. I played 8 and under with Coach Daniels. And
Yeah.
that was my first year here.
Facts. And how many sports did you play when you was a youngin?
So when I was young, I played soccer. I was in a YMCA program, so Mr. Petaway in here, he definitely was my PE teacher at Eaton. You remember Mr. Petaway? He's the man.
Petaway, man.
He definitely showed us the ropes early when we were young.
Great guy.
When I was young, I was big soccer. You know, when you join the YMCA, you play everything: soccer, tennis, basketball. And I started playing basketball when I was like 5, like 4 or 5. I was playing multiple sports then. And then my oldest brother played a lot of sports, so that's what got me into it so young. I did tumbling, bro. I did everything.
Tumbling? I don't know. That sounds tough, though. Like, that helps, tumbling.
Yeah.
I played, and the crazy part about it is I did the YMCA, too, so I was playing T-ball, tennis. I used to love tennis, yo.
Exactly.
I used to love tennis. So what made you choose basketball overall?
So basically, and this is the biggest thing, when you're young, you just look up to whoever you look up to. And mine was my oldest brother, so my oldest brother was playing basketball. Like, he loved basketball. He slept with a basketball. I started sleeping with a basketball. Just all of those things got me into just basketball was it. I was going to play basketball because he loved basketball. And so that's kind of what made me choose that. And then, you start getting your friend groups, and they start influencing you, and I started making more friends, and they all play basketball. So that's kind of what led me to just sticking with it.
I feel it. So let's transition to high school. When you was at Bethel, like, what was your mindset like as far as, like, did you have any idea of what you were going to do post-high school or post-college? Were you thinking about that, or were you just all focused on sports?
So, and that was, so at Bethel, I was a kid, as Mr. Petaway and probably a bunch of other people didn't know, I didn't do very well with distractions. I struggled with distractions. I was getting into just things I didn't need to be getting into. So at Bethel, I was concerned with social life. Like, everything I did was social life and then sports. But social life, I would say, was number one. I was all about where we going today, what we doing. I always wanted to be funny. I was trying to be that guy, and that's what my main focus was. Even though I was hanging around a good crowd, a lot of you guys were. That was another thing. When we got to Bethel my freshman year, you went to Hampton, because we was in middle school together. You went to Hampton. But then it was like 5 of us that went to Bethel. You know, me, Ben Sealy, AB, Jeremy, Jordan Wallace. And I don't think I left anybody out. But when we went there, they all of them were playing varsity as freshmen at Bethel. And so as a kid, when you see your peers, you know, they all playing varsity sports and you're on JV and I was on JV and I wasn't even playing for real. Like I was like 8th man, 9th man on Coach Marshall's bench. And so something in me, it kind of ruined my dream in a way at the time as a kid. You know, it was the end of the world once I was on JV and my best friends were on varsity. So I took a big ego hit. And then I just started, you know, hanging with, you know, different people who I'm still friends with to this day, like Isaiah Austin, Jason Mans. Those are my guys. And they also weren't having that much success with high school athletics at the time. So we kind of all bonded over that, like, man, Coach Breon don't rock with us. You know, we took that approach to it. And I was comfortable there. You know, I was comfortable in basically blaming Coach Breon or Coach Marshall. Anybody I could blame. Just same way you blame teachers for not learning. Oh, they don't care about me. But when it's really you. And so we kind of all had that mindset. Like we all kind of took that mindset of it was us versus Coach Breon, honestly. And so I started running with that crew. I was confused. And then next thing you know, you're a junior. You know, sophomore year, I was playing better, thought I was going to be on varsity, ended up getting put on JV again. And I remember talking to Coach Marshall. I'm like, how am I on JV again? I know this dude. I'm not going to say the name, but I know this dude is not better than me. How is he on varsity? I was like, all right, Coach Brown really don't like me. There's no way he likes me. And so I played JV that year. I was killing on JV. I mean, I was crushing JV sophomore year. And I ended up getting moved up at the end of the season and played varsity. And the only reason I really got moved up is because the varsity team got in trouble because they, like, skipped practice or something. They walked out of practice. And so Coach Brown moved me up and started me day one, my first game against Heritage. We ended up losing, too, but I made somebody fall, though. It was cool, kind of cool. So then that was my first varsity experience. And then blink my eyes, junior year was there. Grades, as you hear me talking, I haven't said one thing about school, you know, like actual school, because that was my last concern. Like, bro, school, I wasn't going to class. I mean, I was going to class, going to sleep. I was going to every lunch. You know, I was just doing what you're not supposed to do. And my mom, you know, I got a great mom. It wasn't like my mom was. I just was confused. I was lost. You know, I didn't know who I was. Junior year came. I made varsity, but I ended up started playing football. And it's funny because the reason I started playing football at Bethel was I didn't want to do the conditioning test for basketball. So we played summer league basketball that year, and I was like, you know, it was signs that I was going to be a varsity basketball player. And me and Jeremy Saunders used to always laugh and joke about, like, man, running is not it. I'm not running. But I knew Jeremy had played varsity 2 years already, so I knew he was going to make it. So I'm like, dang, the only reason I'm not going to make it is because I can't run for real. So I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to play football, so I don't got to do the summer conditioning. I had the whole plan figured out. That's smart. So I ended up playing football that year and was on varsity. I started, had a great time. I love the football guys. That helped me out a lot. And then basketball season comes, bro. I'm pumped up. I'm like, oh, yes, it's here. Breon doesn't play me the first 5 games. I don't see the court once. I'm just like, now I'm done. You know, matter of fact, and I'm not thinking about college. I'm not thinking about nothing. I'm thinking about the right now. Right now, I'm not playing and I'm a junior. I'm going to the military. You know, there's no other question around. I'm going to the military. I don't got the grades. I'm not that good. I'm not playing. Going to the military. No question. So I ended up playing the rest in that year. And then Jordan Wallace was one of my closest friends still to this day, and one of your closest friends, left Bethel. And he went to – I remember we went to his house one day. This was my junior year. I went to his house because he was no longer at Bethel. And we see a postcard in his house. It's like all these kids covered in mud, like you know, and they're just like, I'm like, what is this? He's like, that's the school I go to. Like, I'm like, what school do you want to go to that looks like that? Like, nobody that looked like us was in the picture. Like, I was like, there's no way I'm going to that. And then he was like, nah, bro, like I be playing football, basketball. I live there. Like, it's legit. So I'm like, all right, I got to look into this. So I look into it, and it turns out that's Christ Church. And so after my junior year, I went to Christ Church, reclassified, and now I'm in mission mode. You know, I'm 17, 18, like, I'm like, all right, Brendan, it's either you make this work or it's military. You know, this school not free. My mom had to pay a couple $1,000 for it. So I'm like, you got to make it. Like, we got to lock in. We got to turn up. So when I got here, bro, just being by myself, you know, Jordan was here, but just away from every distraction. None of my, like, I had one homeboy, that was it. No girls I knew. Like, no girls I was trying to be interested in. I was locked in. Weight room, football, basketball. Still thinking I'm going to play basketball in college, no question. I even got tattooed on me like a dummy. And so got to Christ Church, 7 people in the classroom. You know what I mean? Like, you can't, like, it's you and the teacher. If you missing class, they're going to come get you out of your room, bring you to class. I got study hall every night, 2 hours. And so Christ Church just started ingraining me like a system. I started getting on a routine every day. I wake up, breakfast, class, weight room, practice, boom, study hall. So I got on that system, and that's what I needed. I needed routine. I needed a system to kind of guide me through and help me with my structure, because I had no structure for real. And not to blame my peoples, I just was doing whatever I wanted. And so that structure got into me. And then as time went on, this football thing, I started getting a little stronger, a little faster, a little bigger. And, you know, I started getting these calls. You know, my coach started getting calls. I'm like, man, I ain't trying to play no football in college, though, man. I'm a basketball player. And then senior year came, still didn't have a basketball offer. I had football. I had a couple looks, but no offers. And then next thing you know, Norfolk State came first. Norfolk State offers me. Stony Brook had offered me. University of Massachusetts had offered me. And then so like they all offered me. And then Stony Brook started being weird about my grades, about my SAT scores. Same with UMass. They were kind of on a bubble. And so the Norfolk State coach, I still cool with him to this day, but he did his job. He was like, you know, this offer is not going to be on the table for so long. So I'm like, dang, I'm going to lose these 2 offers and then lose this one. I'm going to be stuck, you know, wide open. Still ain't heard nothing in basketball for real. So I commit to Norfolk State. Boom. When I'm going to Norfolk State, so I call him, tell him next, like maybe a week later, bro, it's basketball season. A week later, the Naval Academy comes to me for basketball. They're like, listen, we would take you for basketball. You just have to go to our prep school first, and then we going to let you on to the actual team. I'm like, man, I just reclassified. I'm graduating at 19. I'm not doing another prep year, bro. I'm going to be a freshman at 21. No way. And so I was like, man, that's over with. So I just stuck with Norfolk State. And then I was coming back from a basketball game, and Coach Rose calls me from Hampton. He's like, hey, it's the Brendan Cole, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah. He's like, I know your mom, blah, blah, blah. I want to meet you. I'm like, okay, cool. So he comes and watches me play a basketball game. We meet. And then I'm going to Norfolk State for the Norfolk State versus Hampton basketball game. And on my way, Coach Rose called me like, please just stop by campus. Just come by really quick, bro. Man, I'll never forget. I walked in the cafeteria at Hampton University. I was so I walked in the cafeteria. Man, I looked left. I looked right. I'm like, oh no, I'm not going nowhere but here. And so you look around.
It's different.
Man, listen, you look around the cafeteria. I'm like, there's like maybe 100 dudes in here. Everybody else is a female. I'm like, oh, I'm sold. I said, Coach Rose, don't worry about it. I'll call you tomorrow.
I'll sign tomorrow.
So I go back, and then I go to the game, right? And it's Norfolk State Hampton, so it's packed in the gym, Norfolk State gym. And both of the teams had their recruits there. So I'm on the Norfolk State side. And no, not the Norfolk State. They got beautiful women, too. And it's a great campus, beautiful place. But I'm just looking at, like, the cheerleaders at Hampton. I'm looking at the Hampton side, like I'm seeing the heels, the earring. I'm just seeing it all, and I'm seeing the blue HU. And I was like, man, this would save me 20 minutes across the bridge if I just go to Hampton. I can still get to my mom.
Hey, look, my
like,
favorite color blue now.
I'm seeing, and you know, at Bethel High School, you ain't see like as much. It was more like, you know, it was public school or whatever. And at Christ Church, I definitely won't see nothing like what I saw when I walked to Hampton.
Yeah.
So I was like, bro, and you know, I was young, so that was huge. You know, females is huge. So I was like, man, listen, I'm gone. I'm going to Hampton. I'm going to Hampton. That's it. Commit to Hampton. And then you want me to talk about college too, or just?
Now, we'll get to that in a second, but I do want to highlight two things actually. So it's safe to say that the troubles that you had in basketball led to your football scholarship.
Oh, yes. Way to reel me back, Ty. That's why you my man. You reel me back. 1,000%, bro. So that's the biggest thing I try to preach to my kids here. Like, you get so caught up in an identity you don't understand. Mm-hmm. Like, you caught up in this facade of an identity you have. You're looking at it like, I am this sport, whatever this is. It could be a sport for some, whatever activity it is, you link your identity to it. Mm-hmm. Like, without this, I'm nothing. Without basketball, I'm nothing. So, and that was the biggest thing with Coach Breon. Like, I don't think Coach Breon didn't like me. I was just wild. And he was like taking away what I wanted because I was wild. And as an adult, I understand that. But the sticky part of it is when you take that from a kid, it definitely teaches him life lessons, but it also takes his value away from him in a way. Mm-hmm. So now he's stuck like, dang, some kids bounce back from it. Like, you know what? He took basketball. I'm going to show him I can be great regardless. Mm-hmm. For a kid like me, I used to walk to West Hampton from my house, which is a damn hour and a half walk. Wow. This was all I had. I was with Mike Davis, Mike Edmonds, Ronnie Davis, Preston. Like, we were like walking.
Yeah.
And Manzi and Zeke. And so when he took that away from me, man, he took my heart out my chest. I was nobody. Like, who am I? Like, what am I going to be? You know, without this, what am I? So my identity was tied to basketball. And so when I lost that and I started playing football and got some aggression in me, you know, and I was getting it out that way, that's what led me to, what you just said. Like, I locked in with football, and that became my new identity, to say.
Facts. And I feel like a lot of kids fall into that trap, the identity trap. Like, this is all, like, I'm defined by the sport. I can't do nothing else. And I feel like that's a very big problem today because you see a million student athletes from the area. They go to college, or they don't make it to college, or they make it to college, and they eventually fall off because they have no plan. They don't know what they want to major in. They can't see themselves in 6 years what they could be doing other than that sport.
Exactly.
And that's a problem. And last thing, you mentioned how you were on JV while your friends were playing on varsity and how that hit your ego. And you went up one time and went back down just to go back up. Kids these days, they're not willing to wait their turn.
They're not
willing to wait their turn. And that's another problem as well. It's like everybody's trying to transfer. And they don't want to grind for anything. And that turns to that bites them in the butt, you know, when they get to college because, you know, they're not going to be used to everybody being on the same level. And when they got to compete, it's going to be a wrap for them. You know what I'm saying?
And no, for sure. And I think a lot of that has to do with, bro, what I think, because, you know, I coach now too. So, like, what I've learned in my process is you can't tell a great coach who's a great coach while they're coaching. Like, you can't ask their players, hey, is he a great coach? And they're like, oh, yeah, he's this. That don't matter. Like, all that, you can tell who's a great coach by their players 25 years from when they coach them. Ask the players who've aged out 20 years, hey, was he a good coach? Because the thing is it's easy to coach a kid now. Man, listen, coaching is this. You know, people can disagree with me or whatever. Whoever has the best player, most likely is going to win. That's how it goes. Whoever has the most talented players, most likely is going to win. Whoever's the best coach is who builds the most successful young men and young women 20 years from now. The right now doesn't matter. Like, it's easy to coach right now because kids love basketball. But what did you teach them that's going to affect them when it comes down to, oh, I work construction now and I know I got to wake up. oh, they just asked me to work overtime and I gotta work overtime if I want to do this. Or like what makes them do that? Like, dang, I'm not even gonna sell drugs because I don't want to get locked up. I can work this job and then work another job and just make sure I get 2 days out the week when I can really do what I want. Like, what coach got you to think like that or make you choose that over that? Like, that's a great coach. So that's what I've learned. It's you got to be tricky at those early ages. But in our community, you know, in our Black community, I think a lot of our adults, especially from that era, struggle with communication.
Mm-hmm.
I think the communication is rough for them, verbal communication. Now, they are teaching you the life lessons now, like taking basketball from Brendan Cole when he was 4. Coach Scott kicking me off a team when I'm 13. I needed that. I was wilding. I know it now as an adult. And like Coach Breon taking basketball, that was great life lessons. But now, and I don't even think it happened for them, so we can't even blame them. But it's conversations that have to happen outside of that. Like, not just, hey, you messing up. You're going to lose what you want if you keep messing up. How do I not mess up? Okay, you funny, you do all this. You know what you should start doing? You should start doing talent shows in school. Start a talent show. You know, every afternoon, y'all have a talent show. You have a comedy fest. You can do whatever. Like, what can this kid do? Damn, you like to fight all the time. I know somebody who has a boxing gym. You can make a lot of money doing that. You know, I mean, just like, what can we do? Like, because me going into Miss Turner's chemistry class, sitting there trying to learn is not going to work. That's just not where I'm going to shine. I'm going to go into a ball. I'm going to be an outburst, make jokes, because that's not me. But, you know, maybe I started a club or something like that. So I think to bring it back, like that communication to us at an early age is kind of where the breakup happens.
Communication is very vital. Like you said, you got to find out where your players' strengths are.
Exactly.
even if it shows up in a negative on the court, they might explode somewhere else, and that's
exactly
where with the communication. And that's why we need more young coaches in today's society. Definitely.
Exactly.
So let's go ahead and shift gears. I got a game that I be playing with everybody called Random Rapid Fire. I'm gonna ask you a minute worth of questions. You got to answer it in less than 3 seconds. It's gonna be real quick.
All right, now Ty, you can edit.
You stupid. 3, 2, 1. Rolls Royce or Maybach?
Maybach.
Watches or chains?
Chains.
Rockefeller or Cash Money?
Rockefeller.
Favorite place to golf?
Pianca Tank.
Are you good at golf?
90s.
Go to pregame artist before football games.
Meek Mill.
Basketball or football?
Basketball.
Describe Kobe in one word.
Greatest.
If you could live in the store, if you could live in one state for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Virginia.
Favorite clothing brand?
Nike.
Favorite food?
Chicken.
The greatest quality about yourself in one word?
Inspiration.
And give us one quick life lesson you learned over the last year.
Whatever you do in the now doesn't matter. Set yourself up for the future.
Like that. Good stuff. A lot of good stuff. So let's go ahead and switch gears to college.
Okay.
So when you get to HU and you talked about, the scenery and how everything is just lovely, what was your adjustments like? And we're not even talking basketball right now. How did you adjust to the college life? What was that like for you?
So, well, shoot, I had a great time. I had a great adjustment in college, socially. So Christ Church helped me so much with that structure, right? So I was used to study halls. I was used to like washing my own clothes. I was used to kind of being an adult in a way. So I kind of had to foot up. But the biggest adjustment was just like, hold on. People going to the Harbors on a Wednesday night, and the Harbors is an apartment complex by HU, and y'all just out there chilling. Like, some people staying the night out there, but see, we had curfew as freshmen, so I kind of was getting into the mix a little bit, but college football just ate me up. Socially, I was making friends. I was, at the parties having fun. But college football, that adjustment, I don't think I handled well. The sports side, I didn't handle that adjustment. I handled the social aspect well. It felt good to get back to where, I was in a majority as a Black man. My private school, I was in a small minority. when I got to college, I'm back in the majority around my people, feeling good. So socially, it was good, but that athletic side, I didn't adjust well.
So let's get into that then. Talk to me about the process of being a student athlete and, you know, having to balance academics. How did that work for you? And if you want to, you could walk me through, like, you know, the preseason, during the season, postseason, what it was like.
Yeah, so when I first got to HU, I was ineligible because of a math course I did. Because when I reclassified, the school put me in a math because I had a C in it and they wanted me to get a B in it, but I needed that next math in my first 8 semesters. So I took it in my 9th and 10th semester, so I was ineligible. So I missed all of camp. The last day of camp, I ended up getting cleared to play. And so I come in, mind you, camp ends when the first game is starting. So school is starting, games are starting. So I'm caught up in the social life anyway, and everybody else been in camp since August 1st. I just started practicing August 30th. We got a game September 7th. So I still was caught up in the social life and then trying to zone into like, okay, playbooks and all this other stuff, like understanding it. I kind of started getting ate up. And so school wasn't that hard for me because coming from Christ Church, I kind of had an understanding on how to get work done and have fun. So I was still probably like a 2.6 student, you know, my freshman year. I was still getting the books kind of done. And HU had some great, you know, academic advisors who helped me and, you know, put me in the right classes, put me in things I wanted to do. So academically, I was doing well, but football was just beating me up, bro. It was beating me up. And mind you, I wanted to play basketball my whole life. And this football grind in college is just making me like, different. Man, I cannot do this. Like, I want to quit. I want to leave. Like, I want to leave. Like, I don't know who I am. I'm lost. I'm last on the depth chart. I'm getting beat up by these, you know, Antoine Chisholm, who was the best running back on the team. He just running around me. Like, so I was just kind of getting embarrassed. And I remember one day we were in film. We were all watching film. I'll never forget this day. And like the other players in the room, I was in a veteran group. We have vets. And I'm sitting in there. Like, some of the players are laughing at me when I'm up there because my technique looked so bad. Like, my technique was so bad. And so we watching the reps, and they make a joke about me, but the dude didn't catch the ball. It wasn't because I played great defense or anything. He just didn't catch it. And so they making jokes. And then I come out and say, I'm like, well, I'm the only one that didn't get a ball caught on him. Everybody else got the ball caught on him, so I must be doing something right. And I'll never forget Kimbrell McGee, somebody I still look up to this day. He stands up. He's like, what? Who are you talking to? You ain't done nothing. You are trash. He went on me, bro. Like, when I tell you, he just deflated my balloon so fast. And mind you, they veterans. So everybody else in there just dead quiet. They don't even co-sign. They don't say a word. They just let him eat me up. And then the coach goes to the next play. And so, mind you, I don't probably remember another play after the film, after that moment, because I'm still sitting there like, I almost cried, bro. I'm sitting there like, I'm so embarrassed, bro. He just talked to me like that. Like, and then, so they leave, and the coach kept me back because he saw it in my eyes. He was like, I know it's rough, blah, 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 blah. So I'm in there trying not to cry because I'm hot. So he's like, you're going to get through it, you know, just stay with it, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, man, this coach don't care nothing about me either, bro. I know, like, they don't care about me. I'm sorry. Like, this isn't my sport. Like, I shouldn't have came for this, blah, 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 blah. And so that's kind of like that day I came, instead of pouting, I was just like, you know what? I'm going to be strong enough to fight. Like, if anybody make me feel this way, I'm going to be able to fight if I need to. Man, I'm taking protein shakes. I'm lifting her all for the wrong reasons. I'm just sick. My ego hurts so bad. I'm going to get strong. Yeah. And so I just started lifting heavy. And then, you know, freshman year was over before you knew it. And we had a coaching change. New coaches came in. And I love Coach Rose to death. He changed my life, gave me full. But when those new coaches came in, Coach Maine and them, that was the best thing that's probably ever happened to me.
That's good stuff, man. So it sounds like this is a similar situation you was in high school.
Exactly.
You know, like, same principle. And to any athlete that's listening to this, man, like, just kind of, you know, touch on why you have to be mentally tough and why you can't worry about what other people think and why you have to finish. Speak on that.
Well, so being mentally tough is tricky too, because so you have to be mentally tough, and the way to be mentally tough is to be confident in what you're doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not confident in something, it's easy to break it. I was easily broken in football because I wasn't as confident in basketball as I was football. I was questioning, well, am I that good? Like, can I push through? Because I don't know if I'm that good. You know what I mean? In basketball, I always was like, y'all tripping. I'm nice, you know, so I could be mentally tough. Whether it's toughness. You hear, Taj? I think I lost you.
Yeah, if somebody called me, can you see me?
Oh, yeah, you kind of frozen. You got the ring. But you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
But yeah, I like to say confidence breeds mental toughness to me. You know, if you confident in something, it's not hard to be mentally tough. You can't tell Bill Gates nothing about the internet. Now you take him out there and put him on a basketball court, he might be out there scared, shot. Now you put him in there with Microsoft, man, you can't tell him nothing. His mental toughness is off the charts because he's confident in it. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I think. Mental toughness is huge. If you guys want to go to college, if there's any young athletes in here or going to college, like just work on your craft now. Build your confidence now, because the more confidence you build now, that's going to allow you to get through so much adversity that you don't even know is coming your way. And so that's what I would say about mental toughness. It's about confidence.
All facts. Let me try to fix this camera real quick because I see I'm still frozen. Let me try to figure something out.
Yeah,
if anybody got any questions, anything, put them in the chat box. We'll answer them.
Somebody said work, confidence. Exactly. That's what it's about. The more work you put in, the more confident you become, the easier it is to be mentally tough about it. And just to touch on that one more time, that's why like entrepreneurs are been talking about Wi-Fi. That's why entrepreneurs are so I admire entrepreneurs, because that takes a different type of mental toughness right there. What was the biggest adjustment for you post grad? Oh, okay. You want me to touch on that, Taj, or wait?
Yeah, you can.
That's a great question right there, Bruce. Bruce, I'm gonna get back to that one. I'm gonna answer this one talk about your transition from safety to wide receiver. So Bruce, keep that one, Bruce. Hold on one second. Steven, though. Yeah, so I was at wide receiver early, and then I came into college as a safety, so I didn't have to transition like that. But in college, they did try to move me from safety to outside linebacker. That was a transition I had. But my ego kept me. I was like, I can play it. I can do the safety. I can do this. So that was kind of my change. But that change you're talking about, that was in high school. But that was, cool, because high school, you can kind of just throw somebody anywhere and they'll kind of get it in and figure it out. And then to Bruce's question, my biggest adjustment post-grad, well, in college, as Bruce knows, I surrounded myself by a lot of people who were like-minded. Hey, Todd, you almost back?
Yeah, no, I'm listening. I'm gonna let you finish. I'm gonna have to roll like this.
I'm not. Oh, you gonna roll like this for the rest of the time?
Yeah, I got to. It ain't working. It's cool. It ain't about me. You good? It's all good.
I mean, you can end it if you want to.
I'm saying, like, you can finish your question and then we'll get back to it.
Okay. Well, yeah. So my biggest adjustment from college to my professional life, I surrounded myself by a lot of people who were similar to me. Now, I was one of the people in college, I put my all into football. I was heavy into football. I wanted to be great. My first year, came back my redshirt freshman year, didn't play, but a couple snaps. Came back redshirt sophomore year, started, got benched after like the fourth game. And then I just was a backup. I still played. Came back my redshirt junior year, started, got benched after a couple games. The other safety had went down, so I ended up starting the last 6 games. Made all conference that year, so things worked out. Came back my redshirt senior year, got benched in camp, We had a new coach. Got benched in camp, and then I got my spot back. Had a pretty good year. Got hurt that year. Still managed to make all conference, which was a blessing. So it was just a grind. But in the midst of all that, I ended up getting a girlfriend my sophomore year or my junior year. And, that's one thing I also say is having a partner while you're in college. A lot of people say don't do it, and I can see that too. But having a partner who's there to just kind of talk you through things and open your mind to the other side of the world. As a college athlete, you just hear, you locked in on the sport, everything. But to have somebody you're talking to every day who's talking about, yeah, we're doing an internship for this small business, or yeah, we're doing this fashion, whatever. It's like, damn, you forget that that's even a real world. And so having that kind of had me thinking like, dang, I don't know what I'm good at. I don't know what I'm good at outside of sports. Like, what am I good at? Like, I don't like fashion. I don't rap. I don't do anything. And so I ended up looking like, I can talk, I can speak pretty well, and I love sports, and I like business. So what is the business of sports? Like, so I started looking into that. Like, what's the business side of what I'm doing now? And so I was like, talking to my AD, things like that. And so in college, I ended up figuring out what I wanted to do with the rest of my life, which was be an athletic director or NFL GM. And so I just locked in on those two things. So the transition for me, Bruce, to wrap it back up, it wasn't that hard for me. Everything kind of clicked for me because I was putting the work in so early.
Good question, Bruce. Hey, look, I'm gonna end this. I'm gonna save it, and then we're gonna start it up again.
All right, just call me back.
Got you. Hey, listener.